Good morning. Happy Monday to you. Welcome to the latest edition of What Did I Miss? My name's Michelle. We've got Paige. We've got Gabe. Hey, raise your hand if you're not going through COVID right now. Oh,
that's me.
Look at this fun start to a week. Gabe, welcome to the crap club. It's annoying more than anything, but I'm currently on day 6, still testing positive, and right now my only symptoms left are I'm exhausted and I feel like I've been hit by a truck. But other than that, I'd like to go and start my life again.
Yep. Nobody needs to hear me complain about anything in my life. We're fine over here and ready to talk about football.
I know. That's the only good thing about when you're stuck inside and you can't go anywhere is there is no excuse. There is basically television and sleep. And so television yesterday was awesome. And I know we mocked the whole billing of this final week of the regular season as the season finale because we're like, what? There's still... I don't even care anymore, the semantics of it all. Yesterday literally had everything. You mentioned it, Paige. We had clowns. We had a Lions win, which, what? That wasn't supposed to happen. We had everyone, and myself included, rooting for something I never thought I'd root for in a tie. It was exciting and thrilling, and it ended with the best game of the entire... I couldn't think of a better way to end the regular season than what we had last night. Al Michaels just sounded shocked. All I could think about was Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels. It's the one city in the league where you can actually go get a really good late dinner. And they were stuck there until like forever. And if you don't know what we're talking about, last night's Raiders-Chargers game was about as exciting as a football game can be. It's a bummer that one team had to lose and is no longer in the playoffs, and now we're stuck with Ben Roethlisberger instead of Justin Herbert. And that's my biggest complaint about Sunday. Am I wrong?
No, because one team did not have to lose.
I know!
The whole point was they didn't have to lose. And the Raiders broke the whole prisoner's dilemma deal that had been going on all day.
All day.
And, you know, we were all celebrating the fact that they were going to tie and the stupid Steelers were going to be out. It was going to be perfect. Perfect because they all tried to win in the actual game, and overtime was all the time they had to just kneel on it. Yeah. And they couldn't even do that correctly.
Why? Why does Derek Carr have to try to win? What's his problem? What is your problem?
I just wanted to see them tie because I wanted to see like the celebration of both teams or like what that, like, do you celebrate that?
Yes.
Because you're in the playoffs, but it's also like kind of lame.
No, you celebrate it.
I wanted to see it.
You celebrate it because the argument is then you have the Steelers on the other side of the country just sitting and waiting. And now they get to go to the playoffs. True. So that's not celebratory at all. You're just waiting around for somebody else to fail. The other thing about it was everyone was like, oh my God. I know there were all the jokes about we're just going to watch teams kneel for 2 hours, which I would have done. But it wasn't just that. It was that you gave us a hell of an entertaining game. All of a sudden it's 29-22 and you're like, is this happening? Then it's 29-all. And you're thinking, my God, not only did we get a hell of an entertaining game, but we still might get this dream scenario of a tie. And then Derek Carr ruined it for everybody. And now I don't get to watch Justin. Look, I did not have a dog in the race by any stretch. But Justin Herbert is so fun to watch. Like, how many fourth down situations does one kid need for me to not? I'm just sitting here in isolation. Like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, I'm bummed. And I'm bummed that Roethlisberger gets another shot at this thing. Although it's just, you're prolonging the inevitable. You're not going to go do anything in these playoffs. So we just have to sit through a crap game now. Great. Anyways, I'm bummed about that. It's my biggest bummer of the Monday.
As a new Chargers fan, I fear for the Raiders because I think they just made a lifelong enemy out of Justin Herbert. And that guy obviously can kill you if he wants. That was an unreal performance from him.
Like, who is this guy? You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of when I first started to watch Patrick Mahomes because I was like, I don't really care about anything else happening, but I just feel like when he's in the game, anything could happen. And that's how I feel about Justin Herbert now. I also feel like, how much money would you need to stand in front of a Herbert pass to catch it between the numbers? I think it'd be like bruises for weeks.
I think the catch it part is where I don't trust myself.
Or at least to try to catch it.
I'm athletic, but yeah.
That thing's coming in about 900 miles per hour.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not getting in front of that. Josh Allen, even, I would prefer try to take one off of him than Herbert. When Herbert wants to sling it, he has the strongest arm in the game. So we're going to be without the Chargers in the postseason. But here's the reason I think the Raiders did sort of. Everyone was rooting for them to tie at the end. But the reason that I think they didn't, besides just football players are trained to win,
right? Competitive.
Yeah. Now they avoid the Chiefs, though. So there actually was a reason when it was like, oh, you're in either way. What's the big deal? Like, no. Now they don't have to go to Arrowhead to start the playoffs, which means they might actually win a game in the playoffs. They were not going to win in Kansas City.
That's fine. I know. I'm just selfishly, I think, as people who are going to be watching these games, I think we would have just preferred the more exciting. I would rather watch the Raiders and the Chargers all day than the Steelers ever. And I like Mike Tomlin, but that's about it. That's about it.
Okay, then do you think the timeout wasn't really like the call that it was?
No,
build
he
up.
was just getting his defense right to make sure they didn't do what they did, which is run for the extra yards and get into an easier field goal situation. I think all the conspiracies, God knows this show loves a good conspiracy theory. I don't think there are any in this case. I don't think they talked about whether they should tie or not. And I think they both wanted to win, as evidenced by the entire effing game. They were clearly trying to win.
Right.
So I think at the very end, who called timeout when, it's all irrelevant.
I think the refs had a rough night. I feel like that was a lot of challenges and calls and reviews that went back, which I was like, God bless, how many of these guys going to have? Like, this is not a good look. But all of that being said, it was the most perfectly scripted way to end the regular season, and I'm appreciative and I'm glad I saw it. And it all leads into today, which is Black Monday, and we are taping the show. It is 10:51 Central Time right now. And how many firings have we had so far? 3? 4?
4 or 5?
Yeah, if you count yesterday with Fangio, I think we're up to 4 today, and yet one that's still hanging on. Still hanging on.
Who are you waiting on, Gabe?
Shiv Roy himself. Joe Judge, while we record this, is still employed to be a football coach somehow.
I've got my Schefter notifications on, so we'll see if that works. First of all, yeah, I always feel a little. Look, everyone knows I'm as mean as the next person, but it always does feel a little weird to me when people sort of take joy in like a Black Monday situation, because we're just sitting here waiting for a man to be fired somewhere in the world. It's a bizarre feeling. But yeah, so Denver, Chicago, Vikings. I think the one that everyone is rightfully shocked by is Miami. I don't understand if you start a season 1-7 and then go 8-7. I believe that's about as good a job as you can do in turning around a team. And look, by all accounts, this dude, Brian Flores, is going to be without a job for 5 minutes. But who's making that decision and why? If you fire a guy and he's the most wanted guy out there after that, is that not the wrong decision?
It's a completely insane decision. And I guess apparently the reports are that he and the GM don't get along. Remember, they're the stupid people who drafted him Tua instead of Herbert. Fair. Okay, he's just working with what he's got, and he built this incredible defense that has this ability to beat the friggin' Patriots, which should keep your job forever as far as I'm concerned. You do that a couple times a year, it doesn't matter what else you do. I have no idea what they're thinking, and we can just point out the obvious. Young African-American coaches with winning records who players like, this league seems to have a hard time finding. I don't know why. They can't seem to find these guys, and here he is. With Belichick pedigree. It doesn't make any sense.
It's almost, Gabe, as though they're not looking hard enough. Almost. It's almost like that could be the case. No, I find, to me, the story of the Dolphins starting the way they did and finishing the way they did is that's like a Hollywood-esque sort of story. And all of that has to be, not all of it, obviously the players are a part of it, but like, that's a coaching thing. That's a rallying around a message that's being given to you, everybody buying in and turning the ship around full. And I don't know. I think the GM should also realize you're next, dude. Like, you just fired a guy that will probably be hired before we finish taping this podcast. That's not a good look at all. You want to fire someone that nobody else wants. That's how you know it's time to fire them. Not, oh, he's about to be the hottest commodity out there. Stupid.
Yeah, a guy like Joe Judge. That's who you want to fire to send a message to your team. it makes no sense. Joe Thomas, who we love, who has this incredible career and now an analyst, made a good point on another show. He was talking about the idea that Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, made his money largely in real estate. Right. And in business, in real estate, everyone in your competition set can have a good year, right? Like, the market's good. The guy down the street who's my competitor, he can earn $1 billion this year too. It doesn't work that way in football. It's a zero-sum game, obviously. Yep. And so he's thinking, like, why aren't we succeeding more? It's like, no, man, you had a winning year with a bad team because your coach is pretty damn good at this. You did great. Yeah. But he doesn't see it that way.
Which is, anyways, that will be one of those things that turns around and bites you in the butt. That's happening. The other big thing that happened yesterday, and if you're a gambler, this one was stupid. Oh, well, Green Bay was a bit of a thing for gamblers too, but the Colts, you had one job, to not lose, and you were given a gimme. Your last game of the season was a gimme, seemingly, and you managed not only to lose, but to be embarrassed. And the best tweet I saw was, "This is what happens when you boo Andrew Luck." Somebody has been sitting on Andrew Luck pain for this long to turn around and turn it into a karma story. That to me was a debacle. My favorite part of yesterday is shout out to Scott Hansen, who must have had 8,000 beautiful mind pieces of paper all over his desk, because every 5 minutes scenarios were switching around. If this happens, this happens, this happens. They could be 5, 6, 4, 8, 7, 1, 3. And I'm just sitting there going, I already knew he was great at his job, but yesterday was a true test, because the scenario situation was a billion and he nailed it every single time. I still woke up this morning confused, but at least we now know what's happening. Yeah, and that's my Sunday football. What stood out for you guys? What was your favorite part?
Other than last night rooting for a tie, which felt
that's
insane.
Life-changing, obviously.
Also, it was so late. Like, I love living in New York, but sports did not want me to go to sleep last night.
No.
That's
the worst part about the East Coast is the sports. The worst. It's the best part about the West Coast is the sports. Fact.
I was up very late, and yet Paige somehow was up much, much later. She was texting me when I was like an hour past my bedtime, and we were still texting about all of this. So God, I don't know if she's slept yet. I'd just like to point out a couple oddities about that Colts game. One, the Jags won, good on them. But because the Lions also beat the Packers, great on them.
Crazy.
The Jags still get the number 1 pick. So they got the double dip. And adding insult to injury for the Colts, who for some dumb reason traded for Carson Wentz. That guy stinks. They gave up their first round pick. So the Eagles, who did get into the playoffs, have the Colts first round pick. It's like karma did a lot of wonderful things for us yesterday.
And by the way, just in that scenario alone, that was 4 different things that depended on 7 other things for all of that to come to fruition. Yesterday was just a brain F, if there ever was one in my entire life. I know there's going to be discussion because it's obviously the first longer season in the books now. And did we like it? Is it going to last? Are we going to go back? Yada, yada, yada. TJ Watt and the Michael Strahan record. People are now going to have this discussion. Does it count to tie a record and or eventually beat something? Because that's what's going to happen next. If you have one more game in which to do it. To me, this is a logical argument. It will have an asterisk, right? Like any other, like the 1999 season. I know people want to give that an asterisk. The bubble season in the NBA, an asterisk. Like, I feel like when you talk about records from here on out, don't you have to say, well, that was since the addition of the extra game? I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an asterisk.
What?
It's because the rules change throughout the course of the sport. I think it's just like, that from this point forward, et cetera. So there have been many rule changes that have probably affected different.
Yeah, but you have a whole nother game.
Records.
Like an entirely brand new set of hours in which to do something.
Yeah. Well, in 5 years, when we're talking about the 18th and 19th games, I'm sure that will come up again, right? Like, there's no way we're going back. And if anything, we're going forward.
I think it's going to count for a while. I think we're going to talk about it for a while until, like you said, it becomes normal again. But at first, it's like, if you're Strahan this morning, aren't you kind of like, yeah, but does it count?
Yeah, but he set a record.
There's the argument that he missed games.
Well,
with injuries.
That's fair.
That argument I don't
he did
buy,
it in,
because
like,
that's
15.
your job to stay out on the field. The fact that you didn't get to play doesn't work in your favor with these records. Like, sorry, dude, stay healthier. But also, Strahan set the record because guys from previous generations didn't get credit for sacks when they, tackled a quarterback behind the line of scrimmage. It just wasn't called that then. So here's the way I would put it. Beadle, we were working around each other a lot when the Patriots went for that perfect season, right? And all we kept talking about was the 72 Dolphins, right? We kept hearing comparisons to the 72 Dolphins and their perfect season, and that's all that ever came up. You know how many regular season games the 72 Dolphins won? 14. They went 14-0. Because they didn't have to play 16 games. Maybe they would have lost a game or two in those extra 2 games. So these records, like, they're fluid.
That's fair.
Does. Like Beadle said, it just keeps evolving.
No, that's Paige. I said it like I
was going to say, thank you for making my point.
I was going to say, like, I kind of
more
was old
eloquently.
school. I guess you're right. Everything evolves. It's just maybe because it's so fresh and so, like, in 3 years, it won't. I don't think we'll think about it anymore because, like you said, it'll be a completely different schedule. And there will be a generation of kids who didn't know that there used to be a 16-game or a 14-game season. My goodness. People must have been miserable.
What the hell were they doing those other 2 weeks of the year? What did they do? Watch the Golden Globes? Come on.
Okay, well, that happened last night, by the way. It wasn't televised. I don't even know if it was streaming, to be honest. I only saw it on Twitter.
I don't think so.
And I only care because the old dude from Squid Game won, and that's awesome. And that's all I really care about. Yeah, he's like the first Korean. He also was like 70-something. I shouldn't say was. He is 70-something. The only non-football thing, non-Golden Globe thing that happened yesterday that I was super stoked about, so much so that I put an alarm in my phone to remind myself to turn it on, was the return of Klay Thompson to the basketball court. I don't remember, and granted, I have a very short-term memory situation. I don't remember a player who was on a team that I don't root for, that I cared so much about and was so happy to see return. And I am very much, I think, in the majority of people when I say that, because across the board, whether you're a fan of the Warriors or not, I've never seen so many people take joy in a player's return. And that says a lot about who Klay Thompson is, how we view Klay Thompson, and how he's carried himself so far in this league. And it was worth it. It was worth it. Draymond Green, so much so, knowing he wasn't going to play last night, still dressed, still started the game, stayed in for like 10 seconds, and left. Which is
it was awesome.
Kind of awesome, because he said after 2 years without my friend, I need to at least be out there for when he returns. It's awesome. And everybody wore his jersey to the arena. And it must be nice to be Klay Thompson, to feel so loved like he was yesterday. We should all be so loved.
I'm a big fan of people like getting their flowers when they're alive and like having people tell them what they mean to them. But the video of him sitting on the bench as the fans are going crazy before he's about to run out, that is good. That is sports. Yeah. That is goosebumps. That is the best thing that anyone will ever see. I'm kind of sad that it was yesterday and not like
today,
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even today. I think college national championship maybe overshadows that a little bit.
I forgot that was still
maybe.
Happening. Yeah.
Yeah. But like Tuesday would have been nice. Because I think it got a little overlooked.
Tuesday would have been nice. How dare he return yesterday? You stupid ass.
I know. He's waited 941 days. Let's just make it 943.
I mean, 941.
Thanks.
I was at his last game, by the way. Put it that way. I was at his last game.
Oh, wow.
That's how long ago his last game was. That's insane to me.
I think you like him, Beadle, because deep down, he feels like a Spur. Because he's so boring. Like,
what?
He just does the job. It's like...
You think Klay Thompson's boring?
Are we talking about the same player?
Yes.
We're talking about the guy on a boat with his bulldog, Rocco.
No. Look, we can all be happy he's back and he's healthy.
Are you running a fever?
He's so boring.
By the way, this is one of the symptoms.
Tell me one interesting thing about him.
He's funny.
He doesn't even dribble. He doesn't dribble. He just shoots. That's all he does.
Do you need him to dribble for it to be better? Is that what makes basketball for you?
Does it make him less
I've never
effective?
seen him dunk. I've never heard him talk. I don't know anything about him.
He dunked last night.
I didn't see it though.
And then I have to tell you, when he was coming down, I like held my breath a little bit.
I've been worried the whole time. I was like, I wonder if he thinks about it. I don't know how
One false
injuries in
step.
athletes work, but when you've missed that long, I wonder if there's any part of his brain that's like, because I'm like a mother. I'm like, okay, he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay.
Klays our child. Well, I have to think that after 941 days, he's probably spent the time to like really get it right.
I hope so.
He's probably been playing at like game speed, quote unquote.
Gabe, you're an
for a while
idiot,
now.
first of all. That's
Okay.
he's not boring. And by the way, neither are the Spurs. Thank you very much for perpetuating that stupid narrative.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry if boring gets the job done, but here we are with 5 banners.
I think Klay's too fun to be on the Spurs. Sorry if we're going with the Spurs are boring.
Well, he's a little
narrative.
more Hollywood than I think Spurs have ever
Yeah.
been, like ever.
But I think what people like most about him is like he clearly is just having the best time.
Right.
He's like a kid on the basketball court, which is infectious. And
I
why
agree.
his teammates want to play with him, why everyone across the NBA was so excited for him to come back.
I mean, there was
'Cause
even
he
a
just
shot at
makes
Kevin Love
the
looking
team
over there
better,
like,
the league better.
yay.
Yeah,
Kind of
exactly.
cute, actually. It was kind of funny to me. Gabe, I don't know what your problem. I don't think I've ever heard anyone like hate on Klay Thompson.
I'm not
ever.
hating on him. He's incredible. He's
But he's
great.
not boring.
Gabe hates fun. We know that.
I like him the same way I like people like Manu Ginobili. Like, good for you, man. You're great at playing basketball. I don't know anything else about you. What else do you do?
He rides on boats and dates hot actresses and lives his best life. What else do you need him to do?
He's just living life.
Okay. Hey, I mean, I'm not rooting against the guy. I meant
Apparently
it as
you
a
are.
compliment. I meant it as a compliment that he is just about the job. And here he is back doing it, and he's going to win another ring. He's like a surefire Hall of Famer. He's had an incredible career. He's just not interesting.
And on that note, let's take a quick break so we can fire Gabe and then come up and see if we found it. I don't know what else I missed. We'll find out when we get back. All right, welcome back to a Monday edition of What Did I Miss? A little foggy brained right now, but we're getting through it, and that's all that matters. I can't believe I missed anything else, but somehow, some way, every week I do. So, guys, what else did I miss? There's no chance I did. Paige, you going first?
Oh, I can. Sure. I'll go
You're
first.
just looking at me
My bad.
like I'm crazy.
I thought I was banned from talking after my Klay.
No,
Thompson
I had a few
comments.
minutes to think about it. I'm just going to ignore you when you say dumb things because I know you're sick.
Okay, well, get ready.
Yeah.
That's about to be the whole segment.
Fair enough.
Gabe hates fun. Okay. So what did you miss? Very important. I think it's important for this show, actually.
Okay.
But on the Manningcast, after this weekend, with the Packers loss, it is official that the Manningcast curse is undeniable, undefeated, 100% real. All active players who appeared on the show lost the following week.
Every single one.
Once, the Packers lost.
Every
So
single one.
I would like to maybe propose to you that our show, this show, your show, What Did I Miss, maybe is like the antidote to the Manning curse. So players come on our show,
No.
they are guaranteed to win.
They are not
What do you
guaranteed
think?
to win because I am a bad luck human being. And so I will
boy.
never, ever offer my services as any sort of good luck charm to anyone. Fact. I don't want that
You
kind
don't
of
think you
pressure.
could be a reverse jinx?
No, I don't want that smoke, son. No, I'm not a reverse jinx. I am bad luck. I've never been good luck. I am not good at, like, if it's a 50-50 chance at something, I will get it wrong. Like, you don't want a part of this. You do not want any part of this. None. I promise. But I do love that the Manningcast curse is 1,000% scientifically irrefutable now. And I also remember thinking when Aaron Rodgers went on that final week, like, why is he doing this? And here we are. It still works. Even though it didn't matter for them necessarily, it still works. It's all that matters. Science.
That's right.
You're saying you think Aaron Rodgers believes he can outsmart science? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I do. I believe he thinks that. Yes, I do. Next.
Okay.
Good job,
Next
Manning
up.
boys.
All right, Tom Brady. Speaking of a guy who's been on the Manningcast, Tom Brady refused to come out of the game on Sunday so that he could help guarantee his boy Gronk his bonus money, throwing
Bonus?
him all kinds of passes. Yep,
Yes.
and there's incentives in all these contracts. The big star players get paid a whole lot extra if they meet certain goals. He wanted to make sure Gronk got to his goals, throw him some extra balls, earn him some extra bucks. Beadle, is there anyone on earth you would do this for?
Balls and bucks. Yeah, of course. Because here's the thing. It's a twofold win, right? On the one hand, it's your friend. And so it's no skin off your nose. It's not like they're taking money from you to give to him. So everybody wins. And secondly, anytime you can stick it to the man and take more money out of the man's pocket, I think we all win as Americans, as consumers, as just pawns in the capitalist game that is our lives. Yeah, I'm all in on this. It would be worse. Imagine if it was more like, he didn't care and he just left. Because we're talking what? Like, it was like 1.5 or something, right? When it was all said and done, it was like 3 extra ones. So I forget what it was.
He got him a few escalators.
I think it was 2.
Oh, it was 2? Okay,
The third one, I think he would have had to gotten like 3 more touchdown passes in one game, which
I mean, that would have been a little more difficult. I love it. I do think, again, there's no lose in it for Brady. Unless he stayed in and got hurt, and that would have been obviously awful. But there's no lose, and that is his guy, and 1,000% love it. And I would do it for almost everyone I've ever worked with.
Almost?
Yeah, almost. There's at least 4 people I would not even begin to try and do it for.
Wow, 4.
By the way, they were not missing Antonio Brown in the slightest.
Wait, what?
I know.
That doesn't sound right. I feel like they need him, right? I thought they needed him.
He believes
it's a good
so.
Segui, though.
Oh,
it's
Segui.
a good Segui. Okay, Michelle, pop quiz.
God.
Who asked, quote, "Could I have a moment of silence for Antonio Brown, one of the greatest football players of all time," end quote, late last week? Who said it?
I hate that I even know this. But what I hate more is that I even watched it for more than 3 seconds. And it would be Antonio Brown himself. Antonio Brown himself, third-personed a moment of silence for himself on some podcast. A podcast that did zero help for any argument that it seems like he wants to get any help. And on top of that, I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, but he was in the streets of Manhattan in the Diamond District taping a music video for that crap ass song that he put on the old social media last week when he was waiting outside for an Uber. Like, he's on the back of a DoorDash delivery bicycle. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I know enough to know I don't care. And I really, really hope, even though I know it won't be, that this is the last we hear of Antonio Brown. Oh, can I get a moment of silence? What is wrong with you, dude? Don't answer that. The list is long.
As Antonio said right after he said that, thank you. We'll go to the next one.
I'd just like to spend about 15 more seconds unpacking this.
God.
I watched that video on loop for like a full 5 minutes by myself when I saw it. There's a couple things I want the listeners and viewers to go back and watch it again.
Oh, I know.
Lord.
Point number 1. He does this about himself, and he still qualifies it as one of the greatest football players of all time. Don't know why he didn't just go all the way greatest football player of all time.
Well, he's humble.
Fair enough.
Self-awareness.
But the real genius of this clip, and I don't know whether this man was in on the joke or not, but you'll see there's this round table of people interviewing Antonio.
Yep.
And when Antonio makes this request that we have a moment of silence for himself, one of the hosts of the show calmly takes off his hat and bows his head in accordance with Antonio's request. It is incredible. The guy in red, watch the video, watch only him when you rewatch it. He's a genius. It's
Why are you trying to make me rewatch this video? God.
It is
perfect.
really funny.
You're right. I got nowhere else to go and nowhere else to be. So I might as well rewatch that video 27
But I think what even makes that funnier, Gabe, is that he like takes off the hat to like go, but then it's immediately when Antonio just goes, "Thank you," and he's just like, "Okay."
And then he gives him like a little hand wave, like, "You got it, pal. You earned that." Yep.
Yeah, you did earn that, bud. You earned it. God bless.
Yeah.
Oh, what else?
All right, here's one you might have missed. No one knows how to say it. Terrell, even those guys can't figure it out sometimes. Let's go with Terrell Suggs. Made a big entrance as the Batman villain Bane at the Ravens-Steelers game, but he was in Baltimore, so he was sort of trying to troll the Steelers because the whole Bane reference, you get it. It was a must-win situation for the Ravens that they lost.
Yep.
Is it his fault they lost? Did he jinx them with this Bane stuff?
Is it his fault? No, the Baltimore Ravens have been an up and down roller coaster ride all season long, and that game was, again, like, it was just fun football. Like, this was a fun weekend of football, and my only concern is that the playoffs will pale in comparison. But But no, as much as I'd like to blame Suggs just for random stuff, I guess, no, I don't think it was his fault. I think that team underachieved in a lot of games this season. Period. And that's somebody who had Lamar Jackson on her fantasy football team. Can I get a moment of silence for that, please? Thank you.
Yeah, he got a bit exposed. And Harbaugh was going to be coach of the year until I don't think he is anymore.
Until he wasn't.
Yeah.
Like,
I
no.
actually think the dude in Oakland might get some votes, might get it. He's
You
gonna
mean
lose
Las
the interim.
Vegas? Yes, I've done that 17 times this weekend.
I'm
17
not
times.
fixing that. I'm
No,
sorry.
I
That's on
literally
them,
did
not
it
me.
all weekend long. And one day it'll be okay. And I actually agree with you. Given the season that was in Vegas, like the fact that thing's not only still on the rails, but going to the playoffs it's pretty remarkable. I'm sure they'll fire him though, because, why wouldn't you? That's what happens.
They'll do something
thing to
dumb, I'm
do.
sure, to screw up their franchise further.
Yeah, 100%. What else? What else?
There's no Segui here, so we're just going to go for it. I just thought this was fun. The Cincinnati Bengals tight end, CJ Usama. I'm going to do that over, actually. Sorry. Cincinnati Bengals tight end, CJ Usama, revealed that he listens to Mulan's I'll Make a Man Out of You before every game. Is this the best pregame hype song you've ever heard?
Okay, so I don't have children and I've never seen Mulan.
What?
No, why would I see Mulan?
It's a cinematic adventure.
Okay, that's probably not true.
What do you mean?
Gabe, how does this song go?
I have no idea. I've also not seen Mulan. My kids are
What?
not
You
ready
have
for it.
children.
Yeah, no. I'm totally I'm a Moana guy, and so the answer is The Rock's "Thank You." This is the wrong answer.
Paige, how does
I'm
I'll
sorry,
Make a Man Out
neither
of
of
You
you
go?
have seen Mulan?
No. I know what it is. I know what the character looks like. I know she's a strong woman in the Disney universe. But that's all I
And
know.
why is it "I'll make a man out of you"? Isn't that not allowed anymore?
It's kind of hot. How's it go?
Well, in the movie, she is training and she is disguised as a man, so they don't know. So, the whole premise is I'll make a man out of you because she wants to be a fighter because she volunteered so her old father didn't have to go to represent her
that
family
makes sense.
to defeat the
That makes
Huns.
sense. So what we're saying is he's a feminist.
I think so. I think that's exactly what you could
That's
extrapolate.
exactly what I'm going to take from all of this. That
Two
is a
best
hype
Disney
song.
songs. I'll tell you right now. Olaf's "Summer" from Frozen.
Never saw it.
Awesome. It's funniest Disney song there is. And "Thank You" by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing Maui. The verse in that is a banger. Go get it. Pump all the weights you can to The
Go
Rock
get
as
it?
Maui. Yeah, I just said all the terms. That's what they say on TikTok. A banger and go
It
get
slaps.
it. I hate that.
But those are newer Disney songs.
Yeah, dude.
What I'm realizing is that Michelle, no kids.
Yeah.
Also, probably not
I know
that
Beauty and the
age of
Beast
this
songs
Disney.
that were sung
So
by
this is
inanimate
after Beauty and
objects,
the Beast.
which I like.
Circle
Put
of
our
Life. You want
service
the
to the
treadmill?
test. What? And then Under the Sea. That's a good one. Obviously, Lion King is all Elton John. Can't go wrong.
Of course.
But yeah, I feel like I'm missing out on some
Tarzan,
big
Phil
ones.
Collins.
Yeah, I don't know the new generation, guys. And you know what? I'm not going to apologize for that.
Okay.
So get off my back.
shouldn't.
I'm nearly 50.
But what I'm saying is there's a middle ground here. Because Gabe's kids are really little.
Yeah.
So he's talking about Frozen and Moana. But there's this middle subset that apparently is for me.
Yeah.
As a 34-year-old.
Yeah.
Great.
And I only know what I know. It's not my fault. Taking a break. Coming back. Wrapping things up on this COVID Monday. We're back to wrap things up. It's been an eventful weekend on this Monday. We drink a lot. We're going to stay hydrated. Right, Gabe? We're going to stay hydrated. You're going to sleep as much as you can. Rest, isolate, all that good stuff. I just want to, we have a phone number now, so I do want to make sure we put this out there. It's 631-397-0403. That's like a real phone number. It's not a 555. 631-397-0403. Voicemails, text, Richard picks, whatever gets your rocks off. I also just want to say one thing before we close it out is that Bob Saget died yesterday. I was only around him a couple times in my days in the entertainment world. You can tell a lot about a person by the outpouring of sentiment and feeling when they pass. And I think the way Paige, you referenced at the beginning of the show, I think he was a man that people told how they felt about him while he was alive, and I think he did the same thing for them. It was a little shocking. He was only 65 and seemingly having this brand new touring chapter like he was 26 again. But if you haven't seen The Aristocrats and you are of age to do so, might I suggest you watch that today. And if you can't watch the entire thing, then just Google Bob Saget's 7-minute and 30-second version of his telling of the joke, The Aristocrats, and you will thank me later. Ta-da! We'll see you guys later this week. We'll have Amin Al Hassan on. Guys, thank you as always, and let's get some sleep. Bow, bow, bow.